Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, Dolores, very well.
Good. Well, we've a lot of our clients who are ringing us and they'd like to know more about domiciliary care. So just as simply as possible, could you explain exactly what it is?
Sure, Domiciliary Care Allowance is a kind of monthly payments parents can get from the Department of Social Protection, and it's given to parents whose children need extra care over and above that of a child of a similar age. Now, the payment is a monthly payment. It's like 309.50 per month. It's been that for a long time. But I suppose we get lots of calls from our families, and the main reason they just people find it difficult. And the probably main reason why they find it difficult, it's probably better described as substantial care. So you need to really show that you provide substantial care over and above that of a child that's similar. So what you're trying to do is say if your child is 6, another child might be 6, but are you providing substantial care? Now, it seems to be easier enough for parents who have 2 or 3 children and it's their third child. But of course, if your first child, it's very hard to understand milestones and where you are and whether or not this is something that you should apply for. And when you're applying for the kind of, sometimes we often say the good parts, it's not an actually means tested one. It's not a kind of financial statement you need to produce. It's all based on this kind of substantial care. And once you get that, then it opens up the doors to lots of other entitlements like the carers allowance, carers benefit, incapacity child tax credit. And again, remember we did a online workshop, the video there now that has all the entitlements as well. So people do check that out if you're not too sure what other entitlements you could get after you get your domiciliary.
Okay, so and Alan, when is that paid?
The application process, generally the department tried to get it all, they say like 10 weeks processing like 90% of the applications. Now, it's not a bad kind of, we say guideline, 8 to 12 weeks. I hear lots of my families coming back and saying, look, we've got it, and that's probably a good line. When you get it, then we say accepted as the following once you get your first payment. Now, you can get it backdated as well. You do need to prove and show good reason, and you can get backdated up to 6 months. I've not seen anybody get it beyond the 6 months. And of course, you know, some families, they don't find out about domiciliary care allowance and the child is much older. You can try appeal, but as I haven't seen it, but certainly you could make a case and get it like 6 months. And that seems to be kind of like the general rule. And the other thing is when you're sending in the application, copy everything just in case the file goes missing. Do you know what I mean? So do copy it. And then once it's accepted, then what you'll find is the 3rd Tuesday of each month, an unusual thing, but it's the 3rd Tuesday of each month, you'll get your payment. And again, you just nominate your bank account and you should just see it coming in on a regular basis then.
And Alan, in your experience, have you seen parents who are entitled to it and who maybe just have filled in the application form incorrectly?
You would. Now, what you'll actually probably find is that if your child has, let's say, a diagnosis of, say, Down syndrome, you just fill in the application form as standard and send it off. It pretty much works. But again, if we meet lots of families and they could have a very unusual or rare diagnosis, or there might be the one and only, or it seems to be a lot of our families as well with autism, they in particular seem to find it so difficult. And what we're encouraging those parents is, you know, fill in the form, but now provide extra in there. Don't just fill in and send it off. Now you need to start, like, you know, write a log, show areas where you assist your child on communication. Is it like eating, dressing, getting up in the morning? You know, try provide so much more information and, you know, pack it up, send it in there to them, and try and make it very kind of difficult for them. If there's issues in school and learning, if there's anything, again, all this will kind of support your case. And particularly those families, if you just send it in, you'll get the standard letter out, and it's very upsetting. The amount of parents who get it out, and I could read it word for word for them, and they're surprised. They think it's for them, you know, it's just a standard letter that kind of comes out. So really focus on that, focus on, you know, health and safety, like how do you keep the child safe? And a lot of parents will say, oh, I can't get out of the car because the child is a flight risk, or we have to do something at home to keep them safe. These are all things that are over and above of what a child, you know, of a similar age might need care of. So do mention all this, and that then strengthens your case when you're sending it in.
Okay, so you're saying you should put in a speech therapist or occupational therapy reports, anything like that?
Oh, they're gems. They're really gems, because what you're now showing the department is you have professional people assisting your child. So therefore, it's very hard for the department then to turn down your case, because obviously you have professionals supporting your case. So like the child's GP, as you said, if you're going to OT, speech therapy, get all these reports, get them to help you and assist you with the application as well. Get them to write supporting letters, you know, to school, anything. All that then would really, you know, strengthen your case. And as I said, make it very hard for the department to reject your application.
And, you know, because we are getting so many calls in the office now about parents who have got that rejection letter as such, do you find the procedures around it has changed, Alan, in the last few years, or?
No, if anything, it's just as hard. It's in particular, it really is just as hard for anyone. So again, you know, if you get that letter out now, don't be too upset. I know it is upset. There's no two ways about it, you know, and it's kind of strange thing, you know, you can't put your best case forward as in your most optimistic outlook for your child, which is so unnatural for parents, you know, this kind of, but again, remember, you're doing this for your child. So you do need to sit down and really think, where do, you know, and appeal. That's the key thing. Don't let it turn you down. I've seen many parents and they say, oh, I got that letter and I never went back. And I'd meet them 2 or 3 years later and I'd say, you've got to go back. Do you know what I mean? It is, your child is entitled to it. And again, supporting them to kind of send that off. And of course, you've only like 21 days to appeal. So if you do get that letter, you know, just as I said, try get the strength together and then go and appeal and get this sorted for your child.
And if people do appeal it, is there any other tips you should give them when they're doing that, Alan?
Get support. What I would say, I'm a big thing. Like now, you could ring citizen information, but you'd only get general information about domiciliary carers. But there's groups there like DCA Warriors on Facebook, and I find them fantastic. The amount of parents that I would meet that came through there and say, "Oh, only for them," and the support for other parents, you know. And again, peer-to-peer, you know, parents helping, you know, I think something like that, I would say to you, if you run into trouble, certainly get onto the groups like that. And, you know, and as I said, put your questions in there and they can help you and they can support you through the whole process.
Okay, and how many years do parents get domiciliary allowance for, and can it be reviewed?
Yeah, so the amount of years you'd get it is up until your child turns 16. So your last payment would be that month your child turns 16. That's the last payment. Now, we did a YouTube video recently on the change from domiciliary care allowance into disability allowance. So if that's your area, do look into that, or particularly for 2 or 3 years out, it's important that you look into the transition part. So and then I think, what was your?
Can it be reviewed, or would they question?
Oh yeah,
in regard
it's not. Yeah, it's not something that you get now and you just put it away. Certainly, they'd often come out and see if your circumstances change. So again, I always say to parents, keep a file at home, and then when you're getting new reports or getting anything done, just keep it all. So if they do come out, you have it all ready to go, and it's not something that you're scrambling to try gather to send it all off. And then, of course, if you need any application forms or anything like that, you can get it from the department's website, or of course you can send us an email. We're only too delighted to send it out to parents. But as I said, do try get your application. Last thing I'll just say on the whole area is, when you're filling the application, even if you're missing some information, send it in, because it's the date they receive your application is when they'll start the payment from. So if it's, you know, a couple of months by the time you get reports in, send it in and just put a covering letter saying additional information to follow, and certainly get that in as early as possible.
Oh, great idea. And that's a great help. And I would say again, as you said at the beginning, photocopy it, keep the records, in case it gets mislaid. Thanks for that, Alan. Thank you.
No problem, Laura. It's nice speaking to you again.